Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Harnick, and this is Focus Friday, our weekly video segment where we focus on you and learn more about your business. Please to make sure to connect with us so we can meet you and feature you and your business in our weekly spotlight. This week, I'd like to welcome Ryan Murray, financial planner with Great Oak Wealth Partners. Ryan, it's good to see you.
Matt, it's great seeing you. I appreciate you having me on.
Anytime. So thanks for joining us, and just tell us a little more about what you do. Actually, would like to start with one particular question. It's just been kind of, as I was preparing for this, what was the impetus for you sort of getting your start in financial planning? Like, what made you get into financial planning?
So it's a really interesting story, Matt. So I actually, when I was in high school, I'm sure you probably, when you went to school, they would have a career day, and they would bring alumni back to school, and you got to pick different types of classes that you go to find out what each individual did. And I went, one of the options was a financial advisor. And the guy who spoke had a great story about how he was working with people and how he was able to manage his schedule with his family and the impact that he had on their lives, which helped me when I was working at a bank at the time when I was in high school and college. And I focused a lot of attention in the banking industry that would help prepare me for when I would become a financial advisor. And then I had my focus when I went to LaSalle University in finance and economics. So that experience that I had, and I know a lot of people don't have that and are somewhat unsure when they go to college, it was a great stepping stone for me to really get to know the person. He followed up with me. I got to ask him some questions. It helped me focus on some classes I took in high school, what I wanted to do in college. And it actually helped me get into a program when I worked at the bank at the time. They had a tuition reimbursement program where I focused on having a finance background, which then helped me get to where I am today. So I was very fortunate to know what I wanted to do very early in life.
That's terrific. I don't think a lot of us necessarily have that luck.
Yeah.
I didn't. Actually, I started off with financial planning. I don't even know if we've ever had that conversation.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
Very, very briefly. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So, obviously, and like realtors, there's a lot of realtors out there. There's a lot of financial planners out there. How do you in Great Oak set yourself apart from other financial planners?
It's a great question. And I'm glad that you asked me that, Matt. I think what's important when you're hiring an advisor and what makes us very different is the attention that we put on what's important to you from a financial point of view. Because if you think about it, if you have someone like me in your life, we're there to make a positive impact on the financial life that you have and the decisions that you need to make over your lifetime. So I've been doing this for 26 years, and I've had clients that started out married with kids. Their kids are through college. They're working on weddings. People are getting ready to retire. So there's a lot of financial decisions that you make very early in your life, and it can either put you in the right direction, or it could have a negative impact on maybe some of the decisions that you make. So my goal in terms of for what we do is to have as much of a profound impact on people's lives from a financial planning point of view, and be in your life on a regular basis to help guide you and navigate you through so many financial decisions that you make over your lifetime.
That's got to be great to feel that you can be there for those people through so many different facets of their life. Like you said, starting out in some cases through, over 26 years. I mean, you've been with people for a long time in some cases. That's terrific.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, if you think about the financial decisions that you make over your lifetime, buying a house, getting your taxes done, starting a business, making a decision to start a new job and the benefits that you have, having children, what's the best way to save for college? What do I need to do if we want to have a second home, a vacation home down the shore? Making sure that you have a will in place, making sure that you have the right type of insurance. I mean, there's just so many financial decisions. You leave one job, you go to another job. We really take for granted, I think, to some degree, the amount of financial decisions that we make on a regular basis, and just making sure that we're educating ourselves and having all the information that we need to make those right decisions. And my job is just to be a sounding board, that when people have these types of decisions, that we're there for them, to be able to help them and guide them in what direction that they need to go.
Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better. It's very succinctly done.
Thanks.
So you mentioned a couple of them, but just to sort of take you back for a second, you mentioned weddings, you mentioned retirement. I call those signal events. Like, they're the events in your life that really, signal a change, or that you need to do things about those particular events, because that can really, change the trajectory of your future very quickly. Talk to us about the signal events that you look for when you're talking with people, or maybe the reasons that people would come to meet with you, the things that happen in their lives that would signal the need for a financial planner, if you would.
No, it's a great question. And a lot of times when we meet people for the first time, and I'm very blessed and fortunate that we've gotten to the point in our career where a lot of it is word of mouth. So someone has had a very good experience working with us and the service that we provide to help them stay focused on what their financial situation is. So typically something happens in your life that makes you think about having a financial advisor. If you're young and you just, you're buying a house or you're just married, you're thinking about, you got to have a cash reserve. You got to think about your cash flow. How am I going to start saving for retirement? So getting married or buying a house is a trigger. Your first job. I can't tell you how many people out of college don't know what kind of decisions that they're up against when they're making, when they're starting a new job. Am I making the right decisions for saving for retirement? And now the different options for retirement, and those types of things. Sometimes a triggering event is, believe it or not, these are all positive events, but sometimes there's some negative events, someone passing away and having to deal with, a family member and settling their estate, or getting a divorce, or losing your job. I mean, sometimes that could be a triggering event that makes you need to reassess and take a look at where you are. So usually something happens in someone's life that makes them stop and think, like, what, maybe I need to get a second opinion to make sure that I'm making the right decisions on one of these things that could be happening in my life.
And to that point, what's a good way to do that? Like, does someone just, even, I know people in like their 20s, they're just getting started, they're out of college, maybe they have their first job, for example, and looking to sort of get on the road to a really good financial future and starting to plan down that road. What's a good way to do that? Do they just call you and say, hey, I just started my first job. I would like to start putting some money away for retirement, et cetera. What's a good way to get on the road to financial planning that way?
Yeah, that's a great question too. If I could get a hold of everybody when they're young and share with them, what life is going to have to offer for the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life, it makes things so much easier if you have things planned out.
Absolutely.
Starting to save at a very young age, regardless of what it's for, whether it's for a house or whether it's for retirement, or whether it's for, you have a child that's a year old and you're saving for college. The younger that you start, research shows that you are that much further ahead, and statistically you'll meet your goals and objectives rather than starting later in life. So I think what winds up happening is that some people think like, well, I have to have a certain amount of money to work with a financial advisor. I would tell people, no, that's not the time when you want to do it. You want to do it when you're starting out, because that makes life easier from a financial point of view, to be able to get to the things that you want to get to. And, I can't tell you how many people I see struggle sometimes, just to buy a house. If you just would have thought about it a little sooner and started saving sooner, and thinking about what that looks like, it can make life a little bit differently. But the sooner the better. But of course, we have a lot of people that'll walk into the office and they are getting ready to retire in the next couple of years. They want to make sure that they've done enough that they can retire. Sometimes people just want a second opinion. Some people are starting a business. What's the best thing to do? And it's not just about giving the financial advice, but it's also important to have a good working relationship with all the other financial professionals that they have in their lives. So I've spoken to my clients, their realtors, I've spoken to their estate attorneys, I've spoken to their business attorneys, their CPAs, their insurance agents. We are all different people that are on this financial team to make sure that that person is making all the right financial decisions.
Absolutely. Do you think it helps? I look back at myself when I was in my early 20s, and I tried to start putting, $25 a month or $50 a month away, just to get in the habit of doing something. Like, do you believe that is a good habit to start, even if it's, small, just to do something?
It's a great habit to have. And if you treat it as an expense, and not as a, we have, when we take a look at in my line of work, people have two types of expenses. They have their committed expenses, right? These are the things that we have to spend our money on, like insurance or taxes or utilities. And then we
Mhm.
have things called lifestyle expenses. And these are decisions that we choose to spend money on. I try to tell people you want to treat savings as an expense. It needs to be as important as paying your utility bill or paying your property tax bill. And if you get into the habit of doing it, and then you have someone like myself in your life, every 6 months or once a year, I'm going to say to someone like you, hey, Matt, I know you're saving $50 a month. You got a raise. Let's bump it up to 75. And then the following 6 months or a year from let's bump it up to 100. And if you do that and you compound that over time, you
Yep.
won't even realize how much money that you're saving on a monthly basis.
I wish I'd met you when I was in my early 20s. But for all of you out there who are even thinking about, meeting with a financial planner, getting started on the road to a good financial plan, make sure you talk to Ryan. I mean, this is really good stuff. Ryan, hey, listen, thanks for coming by. Anything else you wanted to talk about in terms of, getting set up with you to really, get started on that road?
Yeah, I mean, the first place you can go, we have a website. It's greatoakwealth.com. You can go on there, request a consultation. Um, Very easy to get a hold of me. No matter what. I mean, I have people that call me all the time just because they have some questions. Sometimes it doesn't result in anything. They're just in the middle of making decisions. So
Right.
we have a very, very open relationship with our clients. If you know people that might have certain decisions that need to make, or speaking engagements, or different types of things, it doesn't hurt to ask the questions. So we're very, very open to just helping people, whether they're starting out or whether they're further in life. As long as you have a plan, that's what matters the most, and that's what our number one priority is when we work with people. But I do appreciate you allowing me to speak today. They were some great questions. Hopefully,
Sure.
it resonated with some of the people that listened.
I hope so. Thanks, Ryan. And listen, for all of you out there, when you see this video, Ryan's information is going to be below it, so you'll know exactly how to get in touch with him. And thanks for watching. Please make sure to connect with us so we can feature you and your business in our weekly spotlight. And Ryan, thanks again for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Take care.
You bet. Take care.